En dat is deze, we moeten nu dat is deze met.
Ah, moet je die niet trainen?
Nee, eerst dat was dit.
Eerst was dit allebei?
Dus jij moet een eerste smetten.
Ja, klokwijs voor jou.
Oké.
Ik dacht daar al vanaf voor.
Ja.
Zo knap gaat dat.
En degene die daar ligt, ja.
Ja, dan moeten wij met de straffen nog weten. Dat is eigenlijk geweten.
Alles mee.
Kijk de steden van de
Kijk eens een beetje en betalen natuurlijk niet. zullen we nog hebben.
Je hebt nog 1 minuut, hè.
Kom maar nog eentje. Ja, klokluis, hè?
Okay, welcome in everybody. Sorry about all of the technical delay and everything like that. You guys got to watch the replays, but or the warm-ups. So just finished the LSDs. I did not see what they were doing. Who knew that setting up and trying to mess with a whole bunch of things right before broadcasting doesn't leave you a whole lot of time to get set. But we're ready to go. We're gonna have curling on the ice. Nice doubleheader of doubles today. I gotta update the scoreboard. I see that's not been done. I believe this is B. Doubles B, and today is the 20th of November. We have the curling stones. And well, actually, the color is going to be wrong anyway. Probably. We'll see if I get this one right. Versus Broomaholics. I did forget to update the title screen because I was running around on the ice. Broomaholics. Please spell that right. All right. Let's see if this works. I would hope everybody's having a good Sunday. I know we're going up against the first match of the World Cup tonight, so I expect people will be focused a little bit more on that. You know, it's just a little sporting event that, you know, happens every 4 years. Oh, of course, I did get it wrong. Okay, we'll swap. Tim, you need to get it your the new scoreboard soon. All right, so looks like Broomaholics have a hammer and are going with red. So we're going to get Xavier starting us off here in just a minute. If I actually put it on the right scene. Do that just for a moment. Somehow the cameras didn't come out the right. They're obviously one is zoomed in a bit more than the other, so it's not my best work. So for those of you who don't know, doubles, they start off with 2 stones in play already. So you have the team that has the hammer. So in this case, it'll be the red. That's the team that goes last. We'll have a stone you see there in the back of the red, which is also the forfeit circle. And then the yellow team has a guard up front. And in curling, you have this 5-stone rule where you're not allowed to take a stone out within the first 5. These first 2 stones in play already count towards those 5 in doubles. So you're not even allowed, and you're not allowed to take out your own stone in doubles either. So and we've had some technical issues in the past with the cameras or with the microphones where one end wouldn't come out on stream. Hopefully it's been fixed, so if you guys notice, like if I switch a camera angle and there's no sound or the sound isn't loud enough, please let me know. I can make some adjustments, hopefully, but I think I got everything sorted out this week when we had an issue. All right, so that one didn't seem to fall as much for Eve as he wanted it to. A little bit heavy, taps Red's out from behind that guard now, and it's sitting open. But I don't think that, because in doubles you don't have as many stones, they're not likely to be playing takeouts here. Oops. There we go. Ooh, looks like they are kind of going for a takeout. This one's a little bit heavy, does need to fall. It's going to fall enough, but there's shooter stays, but it slides out just a little bit farther than that red. So just making sure that they're getting rid of any scoring stones. Now, curling stones are made up of Xavier and Christophe. I'm sure those of you watching might know them. They're relatively new to curling. Oh yeah, that's right. You cannot do a takeout even in the house. So that's right, I forgot about that. So that's a rookie mistake there, forgetting the 5-rock rule. And because in standard curling with 4s or quads, anything in the house is fair game no matter what. It's only in doubles where you don't see anything like that, or you can't take them out yet. But you know, like I was saying, Xavier and Christophe are relatively new to the sport, only started earlier this year. This is their first season of competitive competitive curling. They're playing both the doubles and the quads. And they've done quite well, I think. They've really picked up the game quickly. And it's interesting to watch them, how much they improve each time out on the ice. All right. In quads curling, you have that center line, and any stone touching that line within the first 5 stones, or anything touching that line, cannot be moved off that line in the first 5 stones. But that does not apply here to doubles. And I believe that was the 6th stone anyway, so that wouldn't have mattered even in quads. He's trying to sweep this to hold it. Does not look like it's going to hold, and it is just going to slide in between and go out of play. Now it's a risky strategy playing takeouts and doubles because each team only has 5 stones, so there is that risk. You miss, well, you've just set them up for a decent end. Because both of those stones are behind the tee line, probably would have been a better strategy to put something up against it. Maybe, yeah, just try to draw something in there to get it into a scoring position. Oops, I keep forgetting to switch cameras. So the Broomaholics are made up of Christophe and Yves. And Yves is a thrower now. He is the one with the interesting stepping motion going down the ice. A little bit heavy onto their own, might push that one out of play, but leaves it set quite nicely. Still out in the open, kind of tempting, curling stones to go after that takeout. Fall enough. Looks like it. Looks like it's going to get right on there. Nicely taken out, sitting on the pin, on the button, but it is exposed, and this is something that Broomaholics could use to take out that yellow one, roll over on top of their own red, and that would leave them somewhat with backing and a little bit behind that yellow guard up there. Not a lot, but a little bit, so. Let's switch cameras. There we go. Sweeping this one to hold it. We're going to want this one to just roll just a little bit off to the side there. Rolls just a little bit too much, but kind of takes it out of play potentially, or out of danger. So I think what we're seeing here, curling stones looking at maybe draw it in around on front of those 2 reds, kind of get in closer to the button and have something backing. So we're gonna see what they do here. Just needs to fall. It just seems to be hanging on that center line there. Might be a little bit heavy too. Oh, that's unfortunate. Just a little bit too fast, too much weight, and just doesn't fall enough. So now Broomaholics, with their final stone, the hammer of the end, they are looking at an open draw for 3. And in doubles, you really, really don't want to give up these big ends. You know, all this needs to do is come to a rest in the house. Eve is just kind of escorting it down there, trying to blow on it to get it to stop. This might be a little bit heavy, and it is. So Broomaholics takes the first end with 2 points. Yeah, you really don't like to have those open draws for an easy point and end up missing out, but it happens. So. All right, so Broomaholics will be starting off this end. Making sure the stones are in the right order and that they need to send one down to the other end to use, or Christophe will just use one from the other sheets. So, chat, how are the microphone sounds? Is it too loud? Can you hear both of them? Like if I switch cameras, do you guys hear all the on ice stuff? I did not get a chance to like really test it here at the rink. I did actually do it at home, all the adjustments, and fingers crossed, it's all right. All right, so Eve is going to start us off here in the second end. Standard thinking for this opening stone in each end is really just try to draw it, and you want to put it right on top of that yellow stone. You just want to freeze it right up against there. It really flips the end around, really gives them an advantage. This one's unfortunately a little bit light, not going to quite make the house. Now this can give Broomaholics an advantage, or Curling Stones a chance. Oops. Oh, they really jumped onto that. This stone is a bit wide. Oh, good, Pim. It is going to find its way into the house, and that's a stone that can count later. You know, I doubt that the Broomaholics will actually do something. So, oh, that's really good. That's really good then. First and foremost, it was important that we actually hear the cameras on the stream, because I can hear them fine in my head. And then the next step is, okay, do we hear the noises we want to hear? So that's already a good something good. Broomaholics, since they can't really come around that other side, they're going to try to come around this side. So this one looks a little bit heavy. I think this one's going to slide just, going to tap the yellow, but not really get onto it. And comes around to the back. Does sit second shot. But I don't think that is anything that Xavier and Christophe are going to look at. Oh yeah, Pim, I chatted with a guy on Reddit. He's doing the audio, helping to do the audio for the tournament there in Sweden. And so but he's over on the A pool, and I think he's from Canada. So if some random guy comes over and says hi, looking for Pim, it's because I told him to go say hi. You were there because I was asking him about the microphone setup. He posted a picture on Reddit about it, and you see all their body packs for the miking up the skips and everything. So I asked him what kind of equipment they were using. Now this looks like a really good stone. Oh, just a little bit heavy though. Misses the yellow and is going to slide out the back. Oh, did you? Oh, I didn't even notice. All right then. Oops, I keep forgetting to swap over to the double side or the split camera. Oh, okay. I haven't looked at it yet. All right, this is sweeping it. It's trying to get it to fall. Get a little bit of weight to carry down there, but it's gonna just be a little bit too heavy. It's gonna carry through to the back. Sitting second and or third shot, but there we go. Oh. Yeah. Been a bit busy with that. To sweep it early. Xavier coming out there to help as well. Want to make sure this one gets around that guard. Weight looks a little bit heavy though. It's going to tap onto that yellow. Ooh. Still sitting well. Like the shot stone is Shotstone is doing all right. That other one's quite out in the open, and the button is there for the taking. And Jesus, they keep going fast on me. Try to describe what's going on. All right, this one looks a bit outside. Eve trying to sweep it, maybe help it turn in a little bit, but very good weight on it. Does become shot, but that's sitting out wide in the open. That would be a very good candidate for a hit and roll over onto the button. Yeah, but Pim, I looked up those the body packs he was talking about. They're significantly over our budget, just from the ones I could find. Like, yeah, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. We'll just have to set up a Patreon and a merchandise store, get people to start supporting Kurdia financially as opposed to just watching. Then we can buy ourselves some super fancy microphones. This looks like it's going to be a little bit outside. It is going to hit that red, but it does also knock the yellow out of the way. They want that one to fall just a little bit more, a little bit too much weight. However, it did push the red outside of their yellow, so take a quick look at the overhead cam. You can see that the yellow is just slightly closer than the red. Alright, so Broomaholics with their final stone of the end. Interested to see what they'll do here. You know, for me, my tactic would be to try to draw something into the top of the red. Just get inside of the. Try to get inside of the yellow and force curling stones to do something special. I don't think she would be all that impressed with, like, you know, 25 euros at the bar, Pim. Oh, there is a mistake. Too heavy. Pulls the red, knocks the red out, and gives 2. Leaves curling stones with 2, drawing for a chance at 3. And if they do run it heavy, like he's pointing, Christophe's pointing at it, they could get that red out of there. They could take 4. That would be quite an end for them. Uncharacteristic mistake. Even and Chris have been curling in Belgium for quite some time. They are quite experienced, so definitely an unusual mistake there. Still trying to get a feel for the ice, I think. Sweeping, not sure why they're sweeping. They didn't need to sweep that one at all, but doesn't change anything. So 2 for curling stones, levels it back up after 2. So both teams with early opportunities to score extra points and leaving it out there on the board. So leaving it out there on the ice. But curling stones levels, it takes 2 of their own to level it back up as we head into the third. Xavier was ready to go before they even got the stones set up in the house. A bit wide and a bit heavy. Having a bit of trouble finding the weight on the stones so far this afternoon. And geez, even Chris was out of the hack before the stone had even stopped. I'm like, these guys are really keeping me on their toes. They do not want this match to take very long. Just quick, throw that stone, throw that next stone. All right, this one also a bit wide. Eve is able to sweep that one into the house, so can't complain too much about it. It does get in the house. It is in a scoring position. Christophe with just that casual one-footed slide back to the hack. Just so calm, cool, collected. I'd love to get a side view camera of that just to have them slide by the camera. That would be a pretty good opening shot. Pim, we need budget for that. Sweeping this one. Unfortunately, this one looks a bit light. They're going to need to sweep this one to get this one It'll get over the hog. Just taps onto that front and sort of makes it wider and more difficult to get around that middle line. Oops. Wrong end. There we go. This one also looks a bit heavy, but that could tap on the outside edge of that red and move it a bit towards the middle. It does. Gets that one all the way over into the button. Peeking out a little bit on that left side, though, on that ice side. We could see them go for a takeout, get a potential double here. That would be interesting. Let me see if I have the right cameras set up for this. There you go. You can see what he's trying to look at here. This looks really good. Oh, that's a great stone there. Very nice stone there. It clears them both out of the house and out of play. Keeps the shooter in there. Hands up. Good, well-deserved high fives. 100% putting that one down. That was excellent. Perfectly played. Couldn't ask him to do any better than that. So far. First one I've had to write down, so definitely the shot of the match so far. This one a bit heavy? No, I think this one's going to stop in the house. Probably right there on the tee line. Just a little bit behind. Okay, but it's still sitting out in the open, so they just still haven't found that right line over there on the wall side. Thought I heard Christophe say the word takeout. So it seems like they're where he's setting up the broom. Might be trying for another takeout, roll up underneath. Not quite sure they need to do the takeout. Clearly this is them playing and not me, so I get to sit in the warmth of the clubhouse and second guess everything. That's the beauty of being a broadcaster. This one looks really fast. I am not sure that's going to have enough time to turn. I think that is going to catch it. Unfortunately, shooter spills outside the circle, but outside the house, but does get the red out of the way. So still sitting one. I think hack weight would have been a little bit better there. Would have had more of a chance to fall. Then it also has less of a chance to run out, but still a good stone. Still does what they need it to do. And again, I forgot to switch it over to the split screen, so we don't get to see the slide out, but we see the important part. So they're going to try to draw around the guards here. Feel like it's a little bit light. Is it going to get to the house? Does get around the guards. Does get into the house and just gets deeper and well protected too. That's a very good stone. Very good positioning for that stone. It puts them in shot, makes it very difficult for curling stones to move it out of the way. And so, but they can still draw behind it. And so that's what they should really be looking at trying to do instead of trying to take that one out. Try to draw behind it. A little bit of discussion what they need to do, where he wants the broom. Unfortunately, this one's a bit wide, I think. A little bit outside the broom. A little bit too heavy. It's gonna just get swept right out the back and out of play. Xavier's been struggling a little bit with finding his line and his weight today. Seems to be quite heavy on a lot of his stones. So Chris coming to play the hammer. They're sitting one. He doesn't have the full house to draw to, but he has pretty much the whole 8 foot and in, so he doesn't really need to. I think he's just going to be focused on getting this one to the house. Ooh. Picking up a lot of extra noise from over on sheet A. Just coming out from that outside, maybe a little too wide, hit some slow ice, not enough there, and leaves it short. One for Broomaholics. Another point left out on the ice. You know, that could come back to haunt them. You know, they had that wide open draw on the first end and then here in the third, so that's 2 points they've left out on the ice, and you know, really could become an issue later in the match. The curling stones as well. They left. They had an opportunity for 4 or even at least a 3. So they've left 1 or 2 out there as well. We'll see. We'll see. So after 3, Broomaholics 3, curling stones 2. Just want to say thank you to everybody out there watching today. Appreciate it. We know that there is a huge football tournament or something like that on today. You know, they play outside, kick the ball out in like the really hot desert this next couple of weeks. So appreciate anybody that's tuned in and watching. Always a pleasure to have you here. All right, stones are set up. And so Eve will start it off this end. I just noticed that Eve and Chris have been rotating. So one of the things you can do in doubles is, so the way it is the person who throws the first stone also throws the last stone, and then the other person throws the middle 3. But in curling, you can swap who does what. So you can, each end you can switch positions. So Chris threw the first and last end, and so he is giving it over to Eve this end. This one seems to be a little bit short. They're going to be able to get that one over the hog line. Nope, so that one is out of play. Well, yeah, the game's probably fixed anyway, Pim. So many rumors about Ecuador being paid off to let Qatar win 1-0. That's the story that's coming out that I've heard out lately. Who knows if it's true or not, but we'll see. But Pim, how is everything going in B? Keep us up to date. This one is a bit outside, but it is going to stay in the house. Christophe wanting to sweep this one just a little bit deeper so it's not as useful. Hey, that's not me, that's the internet. That's just something that I heard. It was a rumor that was going around. I know not to believe rumors, unfounded rumors. So I was just reporting it as such. Not saying that I believed it or that's what I think is going to happen. I was just saying, who knows? We'll see. All right. Good stone from curling stones there. Little bit deep, a little bit outside, but it's kind of not very, it's not very helpful for Broomaholics yet, although they can still draw in on it. Alright, they're gonna try to sweep this one down. Feels a bit light, might get into the house, but I also don't think it's going to get onto that button. Starts to turn very late, still a bit outside. Sorry, that meant to say it does not get onto that Yellowstone. It did get onto the button though, and it's in a position that, ooh, a takeout could potentially push it onto the yellow and leave it stacked there, so. All right, let's go Huskies. And a little overhead view, kind of see from a different angle. So I think they're looking for hack weight. They really need to get this one on the inside of the nose, the center line side of the nose of that red one, to kind of get it out of the way without taking their own yellow out. We don't need this to be too hard though. Now, they're sweeping it. Seems like it's a little bit inside. Is this gonna curl around that center guard? Is not gonna make it. That's not a bad result though. It opens it up. It gives them a chance to do something with it. It's gonna force Broomaholics to probably play a guard. Now, did that red one actually touch the wall? I didn't see. I was watching too much like the shooter. I think we're gonna see trying to set up a guard. It seems a little, ooh, it just falls a lot. Look at that. Once it started to go, that just went. So Christophe's looking at that takeout. I don't think he needs it, but it would help them. I mean, it obviously clearing out the house, that would be an interesting thing, but they got to worry about, okay, it falling too much. Ideally, they want to hit it. They'd want to hit that outside stone slightly first, which would then kick over into the red and move that one. Should push it out over the top of the yellow. I mean, there is enough space there, so maybe I'm just being paranoid. This is definitely the risk is too hard, it doesn't fall, and it takes out the yellow one. Sweeping this one hard, wants to make sure it hits in between the two stones. Oh, that was... Oh, Xavier did not get out of the way. So, feel like it would have taken both those yellows out. Shooter managed to stay. Is sitting shot. It is kind of open, but yeah, they lost all their other stones, so that was a very, very risky shot there. I think they got away with something there, but it depends. This gives Broomaholics a chance to take out the yellow, be sitting 2, could even stack them up and freeze it a little bit. They hit this right. It's gonna hit on the outside. Fortunately for them, slides outside over the top of their red and outside the house. Stays in play, but that is not really a stone that could be used. Curling stones, I think, may try to just clear this red one out of the way. Wouldn't necessarily be a bad end for Broomaholics if it just starts to become it's a series of takeouts, because then it'll just mean curling stones can have a shot of probably a maximum of 1 at the end. So if they're gonna go for the takeout, they need to make it. Is it falling too far outside? It may not have the speed. It's going to fall. Sweeping his heart out to try to get it to hold. And he does. Shooter spills out, but the house is clear.
Time to shine. Come on.
Just an open draw for Broomaholics. Sweeping this one as hard as they can. Want to try to get it into the house. It looks a bit light, but I think they are going to come up just in the house. Eve giving his hands out like, see, no problem. I told you it was fine. Right, so Xavier with the chance to draw trying to draw one here. When they're giving it their all, they want this one to get down there. They need the stone pretty much all the way in the house. Don't stop, boys. Keep going. Don't stop till it stops. Just wanting to get that all the way in, and they do. Good sweeping by Curling Stones there to get that one, drag that one into the house, and they've leveled it up again after 4. We are tied 3-3. Really good teamwork there on that sweep. Really like putting everything in it just to get it down there, and probably that effort gave them that couple of extra centimeters that they needed to make that the scoring stone. Good job by Curling Stones there. Okay, so we are ready to go. Here in the 5th end. Xavier is going to be starting us off. See if he can take that little momentum boost and nope, a little bit hard, a little bit outside. I think that's going to carry past the tee line and just into the back quadrant there. A little bit outside. I mean, that's a tricky part with doubles. If you're used to aiming at a broom and then you don't have one there, it can be very difficult to find your line. So I think you see different teams do things differently, and how they try to find their aiming point. We do have the cushions along the back wall that have like letters on it from the website of the curling club. A lot of people will just kind of pick that. This one's gonna come down quite well. Should get inside the red there, and it does. It's a bit open. But is that going to tempt Christophe into a takeout? Looks like not. Looks like they're... Oh, they can't. That's right. It's not the 5th stone, so they can't take it out anyway. Good call from them. I was just testing your chat, just to make sure you were paying attention. Of course I knew that was, they couldn't take out yet. It feels like this one's not quite hard enough. I think it's going to get over the hog line and then fall into the yellow. And splits the yellows, but it's pretty clogged up. You're not really going to be able to come in the middle, so it's going to make it tougher to draw in onto the button. But you still, that left one, the open ice side is quite high, so I think you can still get around that. But we haven't been seeing like huge amount of curl on the stones today. So it's still pretty fast out there, which means that it often doesn't fall quite as much. feels heavy. I don't think it's gonna fall enough. They were trying to probably get this one to fall onto the yellow. Oh, there it goes. Alright, hashtag wrong. Gets onto the yellow, taps it back. They're sitting 3, and that one is, it's slightly exposed, but it's in a position that won't help curling stones here. They can't really, they can use it for backing, but it's not going to give them anything. A hit and roll won't do much, or won't do anything either. Won't help them. So yeah, their only hope right now is to fall onto that, or to draw into the button, try to get on top of it. A little bit of strategy of where they want to do this, what they're trying to do. Looks like they're going to be trying some kind of takeout here. Or at least I'm hearing the word takeout come out a little bit, so. Make sure this one gets around the yellow. Looks like it's got plenty of space around the guard. Oh, that's a great shot. It doesn't quite get rid of both, but it does get rid of one, and it pushes things quite open. That's a really good shot right there. Really good shot. My pen stopped writing. Really good stone there. Not much margin for error. Hit it just right, moved the reds. Everything's off the button, so it kind of opens the house up a little bit. Everything's behind the tee line. Really, really good stone there from Christophe. Eve kind of indicating they're going to come up the wall side. Just going to try to draw this one around that guard. They're working this one hard. Feels a little light. Not sure that's going to get there. Just gets over the hog line. Wow. That was, yeah, that was big there. So you saw Xavier where he tapped his broom sitting up there in a line in front of the red, out in front of the house. So they want to do that. They want to get this one slightly deeper than those two reds there, which isn't much. They just have to get full inside the 8 foot into the white. This one's a bit heavy. It's not going to fall quite enough. It's actually going to hit the reds and push the yellow back. Didn't change much. Reds are still sitting 2. The real world championship is in Makala. Castle boys. Curling stones are on their way to Milan. Well, they've got time, you know. They can. I've seen these two improve every time they've come out on the ice, so they certainly could get there. There are no men's doubles. It's always mixed doubles. So either one of them is going to have to start identifying as a woman, or they will need to find a female partner. And that's a bit hard to do in Belgium. There are not as many women, female curlers as men. Trying to draw this one down there for 3. This one comes up short as well. All right, 1 stone left from each team. Curling Stones needs to get this one in the house. They need to get this one inside the white. Take those two reds out of counting position, out of scoring position, and force Broomaholics to do something good with it. This one feels a bit outside. You got to be careful it doesn't hit on that red and knock it in. Looks like it's gonna do that. Maybe it has the weight to knock this one through. All right, that could have been a disaster, pushing another stone from red into the house, but they actually did run it back onto another red, so no real harm there. Unfortunately, that stone was just quite wide, never had a chance. And actually, if it was able to knock that stone through and into another one to knock it through, that was probably too heavy as well. Maybe they could have had their own, like, draw in and hit onto that red, and that it would have been sitting in a nice spot, but it didn't, so... Chris has a... I don't want to say a wide open draw, but he has a reasonably open draw. There's enough of a gap between those stones over there on the left. They've just got to make sure they find the right line, finds the right weight, needs to get this one all the way into the blue. And Broomaholics will score 3. This one looks a bit fast. Now they've got the same issue here. This could push the red-yellow into the house. Doesn't quite hit enough, but that could... Oh, you gotta sweep that more. Oh, they actually lose a point. The yellow stops, and so only 1 red. So looking to score 3 and only coming away with 1. That's gonna hurt them. That could give them No, that was the Hammerstone boys. They weren't quite sure if that was the last stone or not, but yeah, they won the previous end. So Curling Stones won the 4th end, so that meant that Broomaholics had the hammer. So after 5, we sit with Broomaholics 4, Curling Stones 3. It's been a pretty good back and forth going on here. You know, a few mistakes and leaving some points out there. I mean, that's another 2 points that Broomaholics left on the ice. You know, they could be sitting up 7-3 at this point. So definitely gonna have to look. They're gonna have to watch this back. Hopefully, I don't say anything that offends them, and figure out where they're leaving those points at. What they can do wrong, what they've been doing wrong, what they can do differently. You know, really, it's just about finding the line. It just seems like Christophe and Chris and Xavier have both been a little bit outside and a little bit heavy on some of their stones. So, you know, it's still anybody's match to play for, though. leading us off here in the 6th. They're working on this one. It feels like a bit light. Is that going to get all the way to the house? No. Short again. It feels like that's something I've not seen before. People swapping brooms. But there you go. So, all right, so this is going to give a chance for Christophe and Xavier. Xavier is really going to try to draw this one. He needs to find the weight, get it around, get that on the house. Christophe giving him a target to aim for. Line looks okay, but not sure it quite has the weight. Ooh, this one's, it's just not going to fall like they need it to. It's starting to turn late, but just not really enough. Does get into the house. Was slightly premature on that, but I was right. Did get into the house. Sitting up high could be useful for Chris. Broomaholics, but it's not gonna really put them in a scoring position to take this one out. Even with a hit and roll, it's gonna not really do much. So this is actually gonna tap up against that yellow and push it a little bit deeper, right down to the tee line. So I think that one was just a draw that happened to be a little bit too far outside. Looking at the takeout here. Not quite sure what they're looking outside at that outside one for. They want to make sure that they hit this one on that ice side, the open ice side. That way it cuts further across and doesn't run the risk of hitting that the yellow. If it goes onto so it can go onto the nose, that'll run it straight back. They just don't want it too close to like that 1 o'clock position getting there. Or it doesn't want to hit the 1 o'clock position on the red stone, so it won't push it into the yellow. A little bit over on the other side of noon or midnight, whatever you want to call it. The nose, that will sweep it. I think they're going to try to get this one around that red behind it. It's going to come up short, but it's in a pretty good position that'll keep Broomaholics from using it, so that's not bad. It could be lined up, but I think that if you nose hit the yellow, the red just goes completely by. We'll just go by the yellow sitting in the red in the 4-foot. So not an easy promotion here. Looks like they're going to try to hit and roll in off this yellow here. It's a bit outside. I think it's going to catch the yellow, but is it going to catch it enough to move it out of the way out of the house? Eve's trying to sweep to get it all the way out there. It at least gets it out of counting position, so it's moved it into third position. You can see here that the second stone is that red one. It's fully in the blue, and that yellow is sitting halfway out the back. I heard the words beetje zacht. Thinks it's a little bit light. Let's try to sweep this one. Get in there. Come on. Keep sweeping. All the way, all the way, all the way. It's close, but it looks like yellow is sitting second. Looks like that one they swept it in deep enough to get it in there closer. Now Eve and Chris are looking at their options here, what they can do. If they want to be able to draw this one into the forefoot, they're going to need to just skim that top red guard. To get around. So it's a bit heavy. They're just going to push this one out of the way. Is it going to double? Oh, that's a good double. That's a really good double, and moves it out of the house. Wow, that's a really nice stone there from Chris. Yeah, that was fantastic. It moves all the yellows out of scoring position. Eve trying to check to see if that yellow one is still in the house. He's standing in the way of the camera, so our shot doesn't help. Plus, it's the angle of our overhead anyway, doesn't really help. Here it looks like it's biting, but not quite enough. It's really hard to tell at that angle if that's the right thing or not, so. Sweeping this one hard. They want to get this one around, but it looks also quite light. I don't know if that's going to get down there. My mistake. That's going to get down there easily. Gets it around the guard. Actually goes a little bit past the T line. So, yeah, that's a hashtag wrong. I think that qualifies as a hashtag wrong. Having a little discussion on their way back down to the unpack what they're gonna do here. Go. Lee wants to try to get something in the house. They're sweeping this hard. Is it going to have enough to get there? Looks like that's going to come up just light. Gets into the house, but not deep enough. Now, there's a bit of danger on both sides there. Like they don't need to get very far into the house, so they're going to come in quite wide. All they really need to do is get it to touch the 8-foot, and that will be enough. It really just depends on what side they're comfortable with, but they got to make sure that they're not too far inside. If the stone falls too far, like for example, coming up the open ice side, that yellow can tap onto the red, and that promote the red into the scoring position. Same thing coming around from the wall side. If they're a little bit too far inside and it hits onto that red, it could tap the red into a scoring position. So opportunity to take a second one and then move into the lead. But there's a little bit of danger there, so that stone looked like it went right towards the wall as soon as he released it, just way outside. I don't think that's going to fall in enough. Honestly, they don't even have to get very deep into the blue, but it does have to get into the blue. And nope, that one was just too far outside. A little bit more concerned about possibly hitting it, but all right, so Curling Stones tie it back up after 6, 4-4. Pretty good end there. I don't want to say that they left a point out on the board, but those two red stones were just such a risky position that not necessarily a terrible thing there. But yeah, they would have liked to have scored that. They didn't have to get it very deep into the house, but just a little bit outside on that release. And from Xavier. So two ends left. Some pretty good action we've had so far this afternoon. Just a reminder, coming up at 7 p.m. we have the second part of our doubleheader tonight. It'll be Broomaholics against Double Trouble. So we'll be right here on Curdia.tv. Coming up at 7 o'clock. I'm pretty sure that little football match that's going on right now will probably be over by then. So love to have you guys back for that. Oh, another one seems to be wide. Should have enough to get into the house, but not quite where they wanted at. So I think that's the thing that Xavier is probably going to have to do some work on, is either saying to Christophe, go down there and be the broom, give me the broom to aim for, or work on his directional sliding and release. do have a match here. You know, teams are seem to be playing pretty evenly. You know, good shots from both sides. You know, a few mistakes, a bunch of left points out on the ice, but this one looks pretty good. I think this one's going to get down into the just the top part of the forefoot there. Still an opportunity for Qurling Stones to draw and get in there on the button, though. Bit light, a little bit inside. This one's gonna fall and just tap on that red, or the yellow, excuse me. It's gonna split the yellows again and kind of guard those. It's gonna put a little bit of a guard over those two reds that are in there right now. But it's not so wide that Broomaholics can't do something here too. It's very likely what they're gonna try is come on that same path. Get something in there. Sweep it on it right away. Sure if they like the speed. It's definitely going to clear that guard, but might be too far outside. Not a bad position. Not a bad position for that stone. It's not quite where they wanted it, but it does make it that it's much more difficult to come up that side. You're gonna have to be much tighter to that yellow guard. And honestly, I don't know that it's falling that much that they'll be able to just draw around that guard without hitting that red. So looks like what Xavier is pointing at is possibly doing a long run back. So those guards up there are really high up. So you've got to be much more precise. They've got to be much more precise with where they hit it. So we're seeing Sway setting up. So calling for the takeout. Going to try to run this yellow one back into either one of those reds in the house there. Hopefully that yellow will hit one on the nose and stay. Fall. Oh, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. Not bad. Gets rid of that top one, so that's already one stone out of the way. Making a little bit of note of that. I still think his earlier double takeout is going to be the one we'll use, but Christophe putting up a good match so far. Three candidates for shots of the match from Christophe, one from Chris. So it's the Chris show tonight, this afternoon. Let's see if even Xavier can get something together here in this last couple of ends. after this one on the outside, but just too far outside, so leaves the yellow. Gotta wonder if Xavier and Christophe are gonna look at that shot again. Another run back there. Wouldn't, you know, they got it right the first time. Could still be a good one to play for. Looks like that's what they're doing. At the very worst, it opens it up. Might give them another open look at it. Calling for the sweep right away. Looks to be a bit inside. It is going to hit that yellow. Just slides over the top of that red, though. Loses the shooter and the guard, but it's going to put a little bit of pressure on Broomaholics here. They're going to have to play a good guard, put something in there. They can't, because of it's so open in the middle there, they can't really afford to try to put something deeper than that yellow or too much deeper, because then that leaves a much easier double. You don't have to be as precise. You still have some precision there. It's not like you can just throw anything down there, but it does, the closer the two target stones are to each other, the greater the chance of making the double. So this one has decent weight. Is it going to fall enough to get them in a position that they want it to be? It's starting to go, but it might not have enough legs to get over there. Nope. It's tight through that middle, but it is not impossible. I think the draw is pretty tricky here. I think that they might want, I think this takeout now would be a good time to look at that takeout. Kind of looking at, I'm wondering if they're looking at their own yellow, like, ooh, can we hit and roll off of that? But they don't really want to take that one out of play. Like, if you miss it, you don't hit it right, you might lose both stones, and then that. So I think I heard takeout. We'll see where Christophe puts the broom here. All right, we've got options. Absolutely shoved that one. Is that one gonna have? Well, not quite what they wanted, but what they asked for. But that's one way to do it. I am writing that one down. Wow. I thought the push was gonna be too much, but nope. That worked out in their favor. That was a pretty good stone. These Broomaholics with the choice, what are they going to do? Are they going to just try to draw it into the 8-foot, or try to take out that yellow? Probably they'll just draw. I think that's probably the safer play. We've got Gary over there practicing on sheet A. We're still getting quite a lot of sound from over on that side, so we're probably going to be looking into some more like directional sound dampening stuff for these microphones. But now that we've got them working, we know what the problem was. Things seem to be set up okay. Oh, he is going for that takeout over here, but that appears to be wide. Maybe they like the idea of... Well, it wasn't a takeout. I think it was a draw. Still too heavy. Oh, let's go Huskies. All right. So, steal a one for Curling Stones there. Gives them the lead heading into the last end, but it does give Broomaholics the hammer. So, maybe that was a... Maybe that was actually I don't want to say an intentional miss, but maybe that was just the play that if they went out there and they missed it, then it said, okay, well, we have the hammer going into the last end. We're down by one, but you know, you can score two in an end fairly, I don't want to say easily, but it's fairly common. So that's interesting. Oh, and calling for the power play. So Stones will be lined up over on the side. Broomaholics have the option of, each team has the option of calling a power play one time per game. Yep. And that backstone, instead of being on the backside of the 4-foot, the red circle, it is now, its back edge is touching the tee line over where the 4-foot or the 8-foot and the 12-foot circles meet. And then the stone up front, the guard up front, is set up in a position where it is guarding that stone. So the strategy with this, when you're throwing first stone, is to try to draw something over onto that, like so Xavier would be trying to draw something over onto that red stone and freezing up against it, making it difficult for Broomaholics to move it out of the way. You want it to be a little bit inside, so at our level here in Belgium, we don't play these very often, so it's a very different strategy than the standard doubles. So they did have the right idea, just did not quite have enough weight. Taps onto their yellow. Could open up that red one a little bit. There's a gap between the two stones, the two yellows up there. Could have exposed that red. So for Broomaholics, instead of trying to go after and put something on that red, they're going to try to split the house. So they're going to try to play a stone into the other side of the house. Now this one is going to just get up in there.
Come on, fish.
Curling Stone's going to ignore that one though. They're going to try to draw their own, get it behind their guard up front there. Christophe asking for help. I think this is going to be a little bit light. They want to get this one in there. It's definitely around the guard. That is going to be inside of the red. Going to get down to the tee line. Oh, that's a well-placed shot. That's a well-placed shot. Still slightly exposed over there, but there's not a lot. It's not a lot. That was a really good, well-placed stone there. Good call from Christophe to have Xavier come out and help him. I'm gonna write that one down. All right, we see Eve setting up here. Very likely hack weight, meaning they don't want the stone to be very hard, but it's going to be hard enough that it will be able to push that yellow one out of the way. Chris not even following it. A little bit heavy, a little bit outside. Just gonna slide right past. So that's gonna give Curling Stones an opportunity here to just play a guard. Put something up. Try to block off that middle, try to block off the takeout. So something on that center line. Looking at the discussion of where they want that. Was a bit towards the inside, but looks like he corrected the pace. Ooh, it looks a little bit light though. Sweeping this one to get this one over. Does not look like it's gonna fall. They want to try to get this one on the center line and just gonna miss it. Yeah, they wanted that one up a little bit higher, up on the center line. Unfortunately, a bit outside and a little deep, so Broomaholics still have an opportunity to go after that takeout. Looks like that's what Chris is doing again. Is he going to be able to hold this one around the guard? He does not. It hits the yellow, takes the guard out, shooter spills. So we're gonna see, very likely see, yep, anything up along that that wall side line there, the wall side tram track. Just want to look at getting, keeping keeping Broomaholics from getting rid of it, being able to score 2. stupid on this one. Doesn't like the weight. Looks pretty good to me. Might actually be a little bit deeper than they would really want. Oh, and is that going to over curl? Ooh, that's all the way into the house. That little offset, though, is that enough for them to double it out? We're going to see, I think that's what we're going to see from Chris here. Eve was running out to that stone right away. Looks like that's going to fall just a little bit too much. Lucky that it doesn't run onto their red there. All right, so Xavier with last stone for curling stones. Just needs to put that guard there. Can't leave Broomaholics with an option to double those out and score 2. Just needs something on that left tram track there. Just watching this one come down. It should get across the line. Hopefully it doesn't fall too much. Maybe a little bit deeper than they wanted, but it does take away the double. It does take away the double. If they can even get to that, if they can get to that second one there, just behind Eve. We can see it here. We can see that yellow in the 8-foot. I think they can get to it, but I don't know if they can get on the nose to hit it. That is going to be a very, very tough ask. Let's see. We're gonna put that up there so you guys can see that. Christophe just having a little bit of a discussion what they need to do. They need the stone. So this is for the match. Final stone of the match. Ooh, it's going to take out that yellow, but I don't think it's going to sit. Out of the house. That's 1 for curling stones. Good match for both these teams, but great result for curling stones. They are the winners, 6-4. Really good matchup here. It was really good action going both ways. Good to see curling stones put a lot of pressure on Broomaholics today, really forcing them to make shots. Missed a few. Broomaholics missed a few in the end. Really set things up. Those early points the Broomaholics left on the ice really kind of made the difference. You see it, they had an opportunity for 3 or 4 more early on that they left on the ice, and those even 3 of them would have given them the win. So that was a really good match. Great job from Curling Stones there. Love to see the new teams come in and be competitive straight away. So we've got one more match. I don't have the booth camera set up correctly right now, so I'm going to see if I can do that really quick. Plus, let's see what we can do. Add existing, and this is Samsung. Nope, that's not that one. Hang on 1 second, then we'll do the little walk away at the end. Existing. It is cracked. Okay. There we go. All right. So we'll switch this off. We'll go here. So really good matchup this afternoon. Really good job by Curling Stones to stick with it and really play some pretty good shots in there. You know, Broomaholics had a couple of good shots of their own as well. Just leaving those few extra points early on really kind of did them in, hurt them a little bit more. But hey, good match. We love to see it, like, you know, coming right down to the last stone. Those are the types of things we love to see here on the channel. So that's going to be it. I'm going to sign off quickly. I'm going to try to go and get some dinner before the next match starts in about 45 minutes. We have Broomaholics coming up with the second hand of the doubleheader against Double Trouble. That should be also a good matchup. Martin and Gregory are two very good players, very experienced here. So they've done quite well in the doubles competitions and the doubles cup before. So, all right. So that's going to be it for me signing off. Appreciate you guys all sticking around and watching. We will be back, or I will be back in about 45 minutes. So see you then next time. See you then until next time. I'll get all the words out next time. I'll get all the words out eventually. Okay. Thanks a lot, everybody. Goodbye.